Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another night of Music and Mixing. I'm DJ Michael Joseph, and we are back with a new year and all kinds of cool stuff. Thank you guys for hanging out. As you have noticed, we did switch times. We are now on at 9 p.m., and I think we're going to stick here for a while at least. But we're going to be running 9 p.m. Each week for an hour. This week, we're going to be talking about changes, things that have changed or going to change, and all that kind of stuff. I have some topics that I think we want to talk about, but I also want you guys to be involved with what we're doing tonight. I kind of want you guys to put some input in on the changes that you've seen this past year, the changes you think are going to come in the future and stuff like that. So tonight, we're just talking about change. Hey, I don't need that light on there, do I? I was set up to do my live show. I'm sorry about that. My live show will be following this tonight at 10 p.m. over on my Twitch channel. Just look for DJ Michael Joseph over there. We go back to the chat room. Say hello to anybody who's here tonight. I want to say hello to Dawn. What's going on? Day and Night. What's going on? I thought I saw Howie in there, I think. Yep, Howie's there. Todd is Steep. What's going on? DJ Jess. What's going on? Hope everybody's doing well. Again, sorry about the little bit late start tonight. 100% of the time this past year, we have done it on Restream. This time, we're doing it YouTube only, and then later on posting, doing it a separate stream through Restream to all the Facebook pages. Doing a little bit different. Like I said, we're making changes this year. And I did not have the server set to YouTube. I still had it set to Restream, and I was wondering, why can't I get a feed? Why can't I get a feed? So that's what I was doing. So definitely want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I know it's a little different time and a little different stuff than you're used to. But we're going to do our best tonight. I'm going to try to split up the chat here so I can see everything. If you've ever watched this show, one of the things we do is we always go through and do shout-outs, saying hello to people wherever they're from around the country, around the world. We usually get several continents involved in this show. The show is a music and mixing show, and it's basically about that, mixing. It's about the mix DJ and what the mix DJ does. But we do focus on other things. We go beyond that. We don't just do the mixing stuff. Like tonight is a little bit for everybody because we're talking about things that have changed the past year. So if you guys, again, have any questions about change, I'm going to bring up some topics, and we're going to go over all those, and you guys can make comments. One of the first things I would like to hear your comment on is, what do you think of the 9 p.m. slot as opposed to the 10 p.m. slot? I know it's really early for people in the West Coast, and that's one of the things that I thought about before, that the West Coast people probably wouldn't be tuning in. I don't know. We're still going to do the Restream thing, so it's going to be up there for other people to see later. Plus, like I said, it's going to go on all the Facebooks and all that stuff later, too. So, yeah, I think it's going to be different. I think I have people that are going to be tuning in at 10 p.m. tonight, not wondering why I'm not there. So, definitely let me know what you think in the chat. I'm watching the chat right now. Again, we're only on Facebook tonight. I just see a few of you tuned in. Again, I knew this would throw people off. Normally we have a lot of people tune in from, like I said, all around the country. And tonight, we just got a few. So it's up to you guys to chime in and talk to me about what you think about the 9 o'clock slot as opposed to the 10 o'clock slot. I do plan on, if I stick with this slot, I am going to continue to do my mix show, the live mix, after this at 10 p.m. over on my Twitch. So it kind of gets me a whole evening where I'm set up and ready to go and DJing and stuff like that. So I just kind of want to see what you all think. Now, this past year, 2020, has been one of the biggest years for all of us to change. Lots of stuff happened for everybody. It has been a exceptionally crazy year, a very unique year, a year that has put all of us in a place that without the things that happened, we would never have been in that place. I was doing some writing the other day for a... what did I say, Howie? Howie says only on YouTube. Yes. Tonight we're only on YouTube, but later on it will be rebroadcast on all the Facebooks and everything. So again, apologize, which we do get a lot of people tuning in on the Facebook, which that's what I kind of apologize. If you're watching on Facebook, as this being posted later, you can't make the comments. Let me know what you think. If you don't like that, let me know. We will talk about that later and kind of see how that goes. But that's one of the things that we want to kind of look at as we go into 2021, some changes. There's a lot of changes going on in Disc Jockey News. One of the things is, if you don't know, that there is no more Disc Jockey News newspaper, magazine, whatever you want to call it. A while back, they had stopped the physical copy of it, and they were doing digital copies of Disc Jockey News. And now the digital copy has stopped. They just did their last printing of that, or whatever you want to call that, their last copy of that. And that's one of the changes with Disc Jockey News that's going on this year, is that there is no more magazine. So for those of you who have written for them, for us. Thank you so much for all that you've done and invested in that for all those years. If you enjoyed it, I apologize that it's gone. Perhaps maybe it can be rekindled somehow. I'm going to shut off the blinky lights here. They're driving me crazy. There we go. So it's up to you guys to kind of let us know what you think about these things. And like I said, it was sad to see that go. I got to be a part of it. I don't remember what year I started with John. I think it was 2014. I think I started with them, something like that. Of course, it had always went, long before me. But I just got to be a part of it then, and it's kind of really grown on me to get to be a part of this whole thing. I remember there was a point where I was like, well, what do I do next? As I'm getting older as a DJ, I don't DJ weddings and stuff like that, so I'm just a club and bar guy. And as it comes to a point where you kind of have to switch gears, and this kind of helped me have a little bit of a switch of gear into things, and I'm trying to develop it as that. Day and Night says that he likes the 9 o'clock because it works for him because he has to get up early. Good. Like I said, I want to hear from all of you guys what you think of the 9 o'clock versus the 10 o'clock, or even if you don't care, feel free to chime that in. Tonight's all about change. We're talking about the different things changing. If there's something that has changed in the past year you want to discuss, get my opinion, that sort of thing, this is where you bring it up. We're here for this time. This is almost an open question night, but we still, want to stay with the topic, and that's the purpose of this, to look at the different change and stuff like that. Jimmy, what's going on? Hello. Sorry. Jimmy has seen some of the changes because he has been doing all of our commercials and lower thirds, which I did not get the lower thirds for tonight's show. I apologize. But he does a lot of that, and there's been a lot of changes bumping on and off, so that's good. Jimmy talks about he's flexible, and I've said that, earlier on in 2020, people were asking me about what can you do, and that's one of the first things that I said. You have to be flexible, and I also admitted when I said that practice of being flexible is probably going to be the hardest on me because I do the least amount of flexible stuff that other people do. Trying to get this back to here. Stay. Thank you. So that it's the thing that I do the least, being flexible, because I do just certain amounts of gigs and I don't take any other ones. So it's a little difficult for me, but that is one of the things that I think is going to help you if you are able to be flexible way beyond just what you normally do, way beyond just weddings. And you might have to think about micro weddings in the future. You might have to think about last minute stuff. You might have to think about planning 2 in the same day. For me, I'm just waiting for bars and restaurants and clubs to open up because I can't do a darn thing until that happens. So it has left me, like I always say, I was the first one out the door when all this started, and I will be the last one back in. I know that. But it's my life. I've kind of chosen that. I've worked on some other projects, and those of you who know about some of them, they're coming soon. I was telling people earlier, I don't want to go into too much detail at this point, but in the process of, from the time that the lockdown started, I started writing a book, and I just finished the first draft yesterday. So we are it goes out to the people who are editing and reading and giving me their opinion and stuff like that. And that's been a journey since then. So that's one of the projects I was working on. And 2021 is the 20th anniversary of my second album that I released. It was my favorite album that I ever did. Probably sold close to the least of all my albums. I wouldn't say that. It did all right. It was right in the middle. But it was my favorite one to do, both working on the project and everything. I loved it so much. And I'm going to try to re-release it this year on Spotify and all that. I'm not looking to make money off of it. I'm just looking to get it out there again because, like I said, it was a project that I put a lot of time and effort into and that I'm very proud of. And I want to kind of get it out there this year as an advertisement, not an advertisement, just to share what I did. That's 20 years ago. So I always tell people when they talk about my age, I'm like, yeah, this is my age, but what were you doing 20 years ago? 20 years ago, I was out performing on stages. I was a vocal artist. I was putting out albums with radio airplay, video airplay, all that kind of crazy stuff. And I'm very proud of that. And so this year, I'm going to be that's one of my projects for this year. So the book and re-releasing the In the Mix album is going to be coming out. So that's what I have coming on for this year. The new stuff, the changes that I have. One of the weird things we're also going to have to look at is there's no expos. I was talking to John the other day trying to get the insight on what some of the expo stuff is going on, and basically there's not going to be anything. Like I said, is there going to be like a virtual photo booth or a virtual mobile beat or something like that, because they kind of combine themselves. And he said there's not going to be either one of them, because you look like virtual, like we did some virtual expos, which we had people speaking and all that kind of stuff. The DJ Expo, DJ Times DJ Expo kind of did their own online version, but that was nothing more than they put on some videos that were pre-recorded, some DJ sets that were recorded like months before, where it was just kind of like tagging stuff up there. So that wasn't much of an online expo. So we're hoping that at least by fall, we should be okay to go to Atlantic City for the DJ Expo. But a lot of the other stuff we do, like NAMM and whatnot, and like I said, the Photo Booth Expo and Mobile Beat and all that, that's not going to happen. I don't even think Summer NAMM's going to happen, which is usually in July down in Nashville. I doubt that's even going to happen. It's going to be a full year. So a lot of people are looking to 2022 till their lives get back to normal. I hope mine doesn't. I hope maybe the book takes off in a different way and gets me some opportunities. But I'm just going to keep trying. But I definitely took this year to try to use it to the best of my ability, the best I could. I worked a long time in this career. I've literally been DJing 33 years, and I definitely didn't want to walk away from it. It's something that I've kind of built a life for myself that you can't replace. 'Cause like I said, I've worked day jobs of every type. I have a college degree. I've done all that. This is where I'm not miserable. It's kind of the best way I can say it. I have friends who work jobs that literally the only reason they show up to work is to get a paycheck so that they can take a vacation sometime. I'm trying to build a life where I don't need a vacation from. And that's why I kind of want to stick with this. And I know statistically that only 10% of people who call themselves DJs are full-time DJs. The rest of them are part-time or hobbyists or whatever. So there's only 10% of people like me who make 100% of their living off of DJing. So I think this whole thing with the virus and all this stuff, it's going to change that dynamic to where I think we're going to have a lot more part-timers. I think that 10% is probably going to go down to about 5 or less. I think there's going to be a lot of young kids who are willing to get out there for less. Simply because there's an opportunity, because the brides and grooms might not have as much money or may not value what the packages that we, a DJ puts together for those kind of gigs. And there's going to be a lot of young DJs that are going to come out and say, yeah, I'll do it for $100. So I think there's going to be kind of a switch. You're still going to have your typical DJ of all types, but I think there's going to be a different slot, and I think we're all going to have to adjust a little bit. I see we got a lot of chat going on. We got some people joined us tonight. Appreciate that. Look at some of the questions you might have. That's talking about the new stuff. Thank you, Howie. I totally forgot about that. John and I and Dan talked about that Monday night. I have been sitting in on the Monday night chat show again. I sat in there last Monday at 9 p.m. That's also switched to 9 p.m. with Dan Carpenter and John Young. And last week the show's up. You can watch it. It's about how to pick the next song. And we talk about the theory of song choice when it comes to DJing in both clubs and bars and the wedding scene, and kind of how we look at different things, the music itself, BPMs, keys, the crowd, the venue, the time of night. We kind of look at all of that from a theory point of view and kind of talk about what we feel direction if we see it and how it goes. So you can watch it. Just go to youtube.com/Disc Jockey News, and it's there. But next Monday night, Howie Darkstar, the man, the myth, the legend, him and I had an extremely technical talk the other night in the electronic world, and I just get kind of just smushed by his knowledge because he has so much knowledge. He is going to be doing a show in our chat room, which if you want to join, it's every single night. It started when COVID started. We wanted to do a thing where people could go and hang out. It's a Zoom room called the Chill Room, the DJ and TV Chill Room, and it's a place where you can go and just hang out with other DJs, camera on or camera off, talk about stuff. Like I said, talk about everything in there. Like I said, Howie and I the other night were talking about repairing equipment. Like how many times do we repair a set of headphones before we replace them, and different things like that, and stuff like that. It kind of goes into anything. But next Monday at, let me get the time right, 10 p.m. Eastern Time in the Hangout, which is djntv.com/chill, one word, CHIL. djntv.com/chill, and you can join in, and that show is going to be recorded each week. I believe it's a half an hour that they're going to record of it. But if you have any questions, just hit Howie up, or Howie can pop some information in the chat below about that. But that starts next Monday night. I don't have a calendar here. At 10 p.m. Eastern time. I got to get all these times straight because they're all switching. So that's a new change that's coming. I think we're going to do a couple of ones like that. Just tell us what you would like. This is your channel. Like, we're one of the few people that are doing, multiple shows on different topics with different presenters. We're trying to make it like a little mini TV show, but with zero budget. So if you want to join in, we have a Patreon. We have all kinds of stuff. You guys can donate to keep us going and paid for all the equipment and different things that we do, because a lot of this is invested. Like 100% of my shows are done by me. There's no backing. There's no anything. Everything you see here with all the little cameras and all the kind of stuff going on, that's all me. And that camera just locked up on me. Shows. But if you want to donate and help out, you can. We did get some of our sponsors back this year. We're very happy. We kind of thought with the way 2020 went that all the people were going to be like, nope, we're holding our money. Because one of the things that we heard, that most of the dealer names had dropped 40% of their staff. So we're talking Pioneer, Denon, Newmark, all of those, and plus the lighting companies, ADJ, all of them had dropped 40% of their employees when that happened. So that's a lot less employees. So we just didn't think that we would see them back as sponsors, and we do have them back this year. And I apologize that I don't have the lower thirds. You can see them, but on the other videos, you can see them. Go visit them, click on them, and we definitely want to thank them for their support. Moving on down in the list. Jimmy said, I like some... I'm reading it like he's typing, just so I could I'm trying to imagine myself doing his voice, but I'm not even going to attempt that. I like some controller-specific techniques, i.e. DJ 1000 or NS77. In my opinion, there are no specific techniques. DJing is DJing. DJing is not software, so it doesn't matter what freaking software you use. DJing is DJing. DJing is what you do with your ears and your hands on the equipment. That's it. Everything is specific to those. So you can tailor things, like if you have an echo effect or a flange effect or your high-low knobs, or if your program has something like Virtual has with the stems and stuff like that. That's where it gets specific. So a controller is a controller is a controller is a controller. You have two decks, you have volumes, and all the rest is just little tiny stuff. Mixing is the same no matter what you use. Use the same techniques of where you're bringing the songs in and out and all that kind of stuff. So, Jimmy, I can't help you with that other than I think both of those pieces of equipment are freaking awesome pieces of equipment. So there's my controller-specific technique, is to use those because those are both great controllers. There's my technique. Thank you. How about a 20th anniversary remix, Jimmy says. Do you mean of my album? The time I spent on that thing, I ain't touched. Well, actually, there's some of the songs that have been remixed, because the very last album I put out was a remix song from each of my albums, because I put out 6 DJ albums and 6 vocal albums, and I took one song from each of those, remixed it, put it on the final album, and then 2 new songs that were never on anything were on the final album that came out, 2012, I think. So that's been 8 years since that's been out, or 2014, something like that. So I'm going to put it out, like I said, just because I liked it. It was something that I enjoyed. Day Night DJ says, I'm turning 50 on Saturday, so I'm evaluating what's next for me in the DJ business. I don't want to give it up, but I'm getting tired, so every weekend is rough. Day and Night, do you work a day job also? Are you part of that 90% that works a day job also? Because that's kind of, that really does weigh on people. It's a lot. I can't be too sympathetic to you because I'm actually older than you. It's each person is their own thing, so you have to decide. You can switch. I have a friend of mine that got to a point where he didn't want to give up DJing, but he's in his 60s, so what he decided to do was be very, very, very picky because he had another income. Well, he was a year away from retirement, and then he retired shortly thereafter. But he decided he just wanted to take the gigs that he wanted. So what he did is he had a weekly gig at a little cafe kind of thing near him where he played nothing but funk and soul music, which he loved doing that. And there's a farmer's market near him where he would spin just any kind of music there. And there is a wine tasting club or something in the city where he would do their mixers, the wine mixers. And so he just picked what he wants. So maybe that's an option for some of you to where you can still continue to DJ because you love DJing, but pick the ones you want. So that's where I'm hoping to get. I'm hoping someday to be able to just to say, I'm only spinning EDM. No more of this top 40 crap. So I hope that's some advice. I'm going to try to see. So Dan Knight said that he does work 40 hours a week, plus that's a lot. So you got to understand that you're basically, what, in my opinion, when it comes to a DJ that works like at least a wedding every single weekend or 3 a month, which is what you're doing, on top of a day job is the equivalent of working 2 day jobs, because I guarantee, you said there that you put 20 to 30 hours more into that. I bet you put more than that. I bet you put a full 40 at least into that. So you're working 2 40-hour-a-week jobs, and that isn't an age thing that makes you tired. Anybody would be tired hustling that much. So, kudos to you for that hustle. But you have to make your decision, because you have to be happy. You have to figure out what you want in life. It's not going to be the same for everybody. I used to work in corporate America, and I made a lot of money, but I was miserable. And I in the book that I'm writing, or just finished, I talked about how I had to give up some of that money and get back a whole pile of things that were better for me. And that's what I kind of did. So you have to find what works for you. You could be anything in between, go all the way one way or the other, or anything. So find your thing. That's the important thing. You just had, since I have my 1200 technique since 1987, I currently have first NS7, like the vinyl feel. Yeah, the vinyl feel, it's one of those things I tell people. It's like driving a car. If you like driving a truck, you're going to feel stupid getting in a little car. If you like driving little cars, you're going to feel stupid getting in a big truck. Drive what you like. Don't let other people tell you, that's not real DJing. It's a person who's insecure in who they are, and they want to make themselves feel bigger than the other person to say, this is the way things are supposed to be done. You're not a real DJ. Well, you're a bully, and you've got problems that you need to face. That's what I would tell them. Because if you try to mock someone or tell them stuff like that, you're doing nothing more than bullying somebody, and that's all you are. And you all know me. I don't back down from crap, so be careful what you say. Yeah, so that's good that you like that stuff. Sorry, I went on a rant there, Jess. Sorry, but yeah, that's good that you find the stuff you like. The NS7, I owned one of the NS7s and loved it aside from the weight. Like, I seriously loved that thing, but I just couldn't handle all my gigs. I'm carrying stuff in and out, and it was just too much to carry. But I love that thing so much. Let's see here. Gus, same here day. All weddings. I'm 63, full-time job, not looking to stop DJing anytime soon. That's good. I love seeing people who are, because, like I said, in this industry, at least my side with the club and stuff, it is tailored towards young people. So I'm at that age that I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing, but I'm blessed. I'm very thankful God opens the doors that he does, and I get to do what I do. But I understand that, you love something, you don't want to back away. So you just have to kind of figure out what you want. Figure out how to make that continue to work for you. Like I said, DJ Easy Lou here in the city, he's the guy. He just celebrated his, 67th birthday or something like that? 68? I can't remember. But like I said, he just picks and chooses what he wants, but he still gets to DJ. He just likes the music scene. There's nights he's real big when they do like throwbacks and do like new wave nights, because he used to spin a lot of new wave back in the day. So when they have nights in the city where they do a special ticket sale for a new wave DJ night, he's part of those kinds of things. So he finds what works for him. Like I said, I'm hoping that someday I can get to the point where I can just say, okay, I'm just doing dance music and nothing else. But I still have to keep doing top 40 for now. That's what pays the money, and that literally, I tell everybody, I did not spin anything but EDM till about 2005, and then when I switched over to top 40, that's when my career took off. I got gigs constantly then, and I just hated it because I don't listen to that music. So anyways, let's continue reading on down here. You want a 6-pound Rain 12. Hey, Jimmy, don't be surprised if you see one of the companies, instead of putting out a 12-inch version of that Rain, that they put out a 10 or an 8. I've had some people tell me to look for them. I think I know who's coming out with them. In fact, I thought they were supposed to be out this year. But basically, kind of look at the Denon 6000 motorized platter, that thing, and remove the screen to where you have just the platter. So imagine that, which is very light, a mixer that ties in the way like the S9, S11, or the 72 tie in, and get two of those in that, which wouldn't be a whole lot bigger than this, and be able to go out there with your motorized platters, individual, however you want, so you could set them up any way you want, spread them out if you want, whatever your thing is, switch the mixer if you don't like the mixer. I think those are coming because I think that's going to be a little bit more of a norm in the future. With a lot of the stuff that's coming out, I think they are. They're probably going to be stupid pricey. I'm guessing if somebody does make like an 8 or 10-inch version of that, you're going to be probably paying minimum $1,200 per deck, in my opinion, or $1,000 per deck. But we'll see. Day and Night says he's hoping to retire the day and night job by 60. That's good. Yeah, you have to be flexible with that. Jimmy says he wants the 12-inch no matter what. Hey, there's a trade-off, Jimmy. You know that. There's always going to be a trade-off when you do size and weight and different things. You can't have it all. So there's the show's about change, Jimmy. So change what you want. Again, I appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Like I said, since we switched time and stuff, we don't have as many people tuned in tonight, so that's kind of weird for me to see. But I love the fact that all you guys are here with me tonight. Again, let me know in the chat or in person what you think of the 9 o'clock. If you say you don't like it or other people tell me they don't like it, I'm okay with that. You don't have to agree with me. Just tell me what you think. And like I said, Jimmy talks about aluminum for the control for the 12-inch. Here's the thing, Jimmy. You and I have talked about that old American Audio case that we both have that is still durable, but like 1/3 the weight of other cases. They can do it, but what it is, the crowd that normally goes for those 12-inch motorized platters, whether it be a 12, a 1200, the Denon ones, the Pioneer ones that are motorized, the people that usually go for that want one feeling. So if you change the weight of it, even if it's the same internal components, you change that weight, they will complain endlessly. I have a friend that will only own certain CDJs because he does not like the feel of other CDJs. And I don't remember what number he likes, but whatever it is, that's the only CDJ he will use. So we're talking about something that most people would put all together, they all feel the same or feel close. He's like, no, I can't stand that. So he is stuck on one thing. So if they go and change that from the metal to the aluminum to lighten things up, or plastic, whatever, that whole crowd is just going to walk away from it. So if they don't capture a brand new crowd with that new plastic lighter version, they're not going to have anything, because they are not going to have the other crowd that wants that. They're very stuck in their ways. They don't look anything beyond that. It's kind of interesting, dynamic, but it is what it is, and that's fine. Like I said, like a car, drive whatever you want to drive. I don't care. Jess says she remembers buying a cassette and staying up late at night recording the mixes from Boris and Chris in Los Angeles. Yeah, for me here in the city, it was he's a friend of mine now. I actually got a chance to work for him about 20 years ago here in the city. I started working for him, and we're still friends to this day. John Holman from Metro Mix. It was the same way that I loved his stuff and would record it off the radio and listen to it all week on tape as I'm driving around doing stuff. And then later on got to meet him and then got to work for him, and now we're friends. So yeah, that's good. That's the good time stuff. That's one of the things that tonight after this show over on my Twitch, which is twitch.tv/DJ Michael Joseph, I'm going to be doing an all 90s set, just because lately I've been kind of stuck in this 90s thing, and I just wanted to spin a 90s thing, and it kind of takes me back some of the songs I used to play, the freestyle songs and stuff like that. So should be a good night. Paul says steel's better for electronic noise, such like that. Here's the thing with the way these work. That's what you have to kind of keep in mind. It's not like the old record players where you're getting a signal, because with the rains and stuff, it is the exact same as this deck, the Denon, and the components are not reading the way you are. They're all wired and insulated through everything. So it's not the same. And also you could say the same for if you do have a turntable. Now everybody's using phases. So that is a signal that has nothing to do. Your audio signal and your motor are not even on the same wire or connected to the same power, nothing. So there's a total separation from that with the new technology. And that's why I think the plastic stuff could work, because it does work. Like I said, you look at the 6000 Denon one, is motorized, and it works perfect. There's nothing wrong with it aside from the price and that giant screen, which I really don't want. But it's good. Detachable weights. That's the answer, Jimmy. Jimmy, patent that quickly. Go get the website. Detachable turntable weights or something like that. That's awesome. Jess asks, what controller do you recommend that's budget friendly? Now, okay, let me ask. It's different for everybody. What do you consider budget friendly? Because for me, budget friendly, because I believe, like I said, the Denon and the different Pioneers, a pro level is going to run you around $1,000. So 500 is like mid-level, and anything below 500 is a beginner level. So you can look at stuff that way. Of that lower level, I do like the Newmark, and I know people hate Newmark, but I do like the Newmark Platinum FX. It has the paddle effects like the S9, the S11, and the 72 mixers in the center. So it's more tailored towards that. A couple of the Pioneer lower ones are great. The 800 and the well, they don't have an SRT yet, but the 800, which is kind of like a smaller version of the 1000, the 800 is great, and that's what a lot of people are waiting for them to come out with, an 800 SRT. So, or you just switch to virtual and it works on everything. But those are ones that, depending on what software you're using, you might be able to switch to those. Like I said, there's several Pioneers that are all in that under $500 range that I think are good. Right now, you really can't go wrong, because if you dug into the Pioneers and open up the Denons and then open up the Newmarks and then open up whoever else, you're probably going to see the exact same components made by the exact same company once you get past all the touchy-feely things. So all your knobs are made by nearly the same person, or at least, so many go here, so many go there. It isn't like, this knob is made just for this controller and you never find it anywhere else. All of that, all the components, all the sound cards are all coming from the same place. So when it gets assembled, you're still working with generally the same components. A friend of mine a couple years ago, it was funny. He bought a Mac and I have Windows, and we looked at it and we had literally the exact same hardware from beginning to end. The only difference between the two was his was a Mac, mine was a Windows. And that's kind of funny that you look at things and think they're a world different. Some are, some aren't. But that's why I look at that you can't necessarily say that this brand is better than that brand. You kind of have to look at the price, because if you have a $250 controller, it's not going to have a $1,000 controller sound card in it. But if you have this $250 controller and this $250 controller, their sound cards are going to be similar. So that's kind of how you have to look at that. I know I also own the Denon 6000, the 2 deck, not the 6000M, not the motorized one, but the old one with the 2. And I had it hooked up at a place and then hooked up to 7000 at the same place. And I can't begin to, and I consider that 6000 a solid piece of equipment. I can't begin to tell you how much better it sounded on the 7000, the stuff that was coming out of the 7000 on the exact same speakers than was on the 6000. So there was that big of a jump between the two sound cards. So always keep that in mind when you're doing that. Day Night asks, this is a good question. If I buy Pioneer 1000, do I have to choose between Rekordbox and Serato, or does the SRT have both? Does Virtual DJ work on either of them? Here's the thing. Virtual DJ works on either one. Okay, so it doesn't matter where you get the SRT or the regular. Virtual works on either one. Rekordbox works on both of them, if I'm correct. Serato only works on the SRT. Again, I have no idea why they have so much problems with stuff like that. Virtual works on both fine. I've literally had, like, if you go into my settings in there and look at the different controllers that I've been plugged into, you'll see both 1000 and the 1000 SRT in there, because I've ran this on both, ran my computer with virtual on both of those, and it works perfectly. So it all depends on what you use. If you're a Serato guy, you have to stick with the SRT. If you want the 800, you can use virtual or Rekordbox. If you want The 1000, you can get, depending on what you need to use, you can get, in depending on what price you want and different things like that. So, again, it all depends on what you use. It doesn't mean that one's better than another. It just means that there's a difference. You just have to pay attention. And a lot of them, here's the thing that throws so many people off. You got to remember, if you get a controller and it says this is a Serato controller, that does not mean it only works with Serato. That means Serato paid to have their name on the box. That's all that means. A controller, aside from the ones that Pioneer makes specifically for Rekordbox, because they want to sell their Rekordbox software. That's why they do that. They could make that controller work on anything, but they choose to lock it down to Rekordbox to get people to switch to Rekordbox. So that's why, again, virtual works on everything, because all of these things that we own are all called generic MIDI devices. So you're just, all it is doing MIDI, which stands for Musical Instrument Digital Interface, and that is a language where the hardware and the software communicate. So a MIDI command to turn a knob or press a play button is exactly the same no matter the device and the software. It's identical. So don't get fooled into saying, oh, this is a Serato controller, I can't use virtual, or if this is a virtual controller, I can't use Serato. Psst. There's certain ones you can't, and that's so few and far between. And like I said, the Pioneer 1000 was the example because they wanted to force you to use Rekordbox. No other reason. There's my rant again, so I hope that helped. Have you tried Mixar's Primo DJ controller? Only at the Expo. Had my hands on it at the Expo. It's solid. It is not the super high end, but it's not bottom end either. I don't know too many people that use it, so I can't tell you any sort of longevity. Like I said, with the Den and stuff that I use, I'm out 3-4 nights a week DJing at clubs and bars. I know what it can take. I don't know anybody that has had the Pixar out. Pixar, is that the way it's said now? I don't even remember. It's from Italy. I know that. But anyways, I don't know anybody that's had it out for long term, so I don't know if it has long term, how it is stably long wise, knobs and different things that, that tend to wear out, banging it around in places that are humid. Because I know some of the places I DJ at, no kidding, it gets so hot and steamy in there. Because like I said, it's a club and it is packed shoulder to shoulder with people that I get condensation in that room on the turntable, on the decks, because it's so hot in there. So that affects a component too. So, I don't know how those work in those kind of environments. I know what this has done, and I've been very satisfied with it. But it is, I just realized it's 4 years old. So for me, that's a long time to own a controller. That's a long, long time. I usually, every 2 years, something new, and I'm waiting for Virtual to come out with, not Virtual, but Denon to come out with something new. But the ones that they've come out with, I don't like. So there's nothing they have out, because technically the 7000 is discontinued. It's considered a legacy product. It is discontinued. They don't have anything out now that I can switch to. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I may have to switch brands or something, but I can't. Right now they have nothing. Like if I had to switch controllers, I would have. There's nothing they have that I would use. So continuing down, you guys got some freaking great questions here. I didn't think we would run a long time, but this is good. Rekordbox is for the CDJs. You can use virtual on all of them. It works on all of them. Serato works on all of them too, so depending on what they are. It's not a separation between CDJs and Serato, because you can use Serato and CDJs. I've almost every single friend I know runs Serato on CDJs. Does the Pioneer 1000 come with Rekordbox? I do believe it does, but you got to remember, here's the weird thing with the licensing on some of those. If you get something like that, and it comes with a Rekordbox license, you got to keep in mind, you're not getting the program that you can use on everything. That license is tied to that specific controller. So if you have 2 controllers, you cannot use Rekordbox on this one unless you pay extra to have it on this one. There's a lot of them that do that come with the free ones and go, oh, I got free, and then they try to put it on another controller and they realize they can't, because that license is tied to one controller. So if you want it, make sure that you're getting the full, or be willing to pay the extra for the full. They get you like that, which I think is irritating. The fact that I think we're all going to see monthly subscriptions to our DJ software, and I will punch somebody's mom for giving birth to the person who makes that happen, because I hate that. But we're probably going to see it. Talk about change. We're probably going to see that. I bought a skin for my 7000, black and red like yours, and so I no longer see the S word in the controller. Paul, what I did is I put an MJ sticker over the S word on mine, because it's just stupid. They paid to have it there. I don't want it. I mean, I own Serato. I own Rekordbox. I paid for all of them because with Disc Jockey News, I have to test them. So I own all of them. But Virtual does everything I need so perfectly. That's all I can say. All Pioneers come with both. Not all of them, but a lot. Paul said, Chris, I have the DJ SRT, and I can use both. And it came with both. Okay, Chris, the SRT is another one. SRT, is it the SR? It's the B, the one that has the B in it that is Rekordbox specific. Pioneer has so many of them, it's tough to keep up with them. I've had my hands on all of them. But again, that's the best thing you could do is if you have one that you're interested in. Used to be we could go to the expo and test them, but best thing you do is find someone, once we get to the point with this thing that we're able to actually hang out in groups of people, find someone that has what you want and just ask them, hey, I'm considering get that. Can I show up at your gig a little early and just test it for a little bit? Is that okay? And I'm sure, I've done that with people. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Come and check it out. So do that if you can to find out what you like. What do you think of the... Chris, I don't know what that is. In Sonamac events, I don't know what that is. Day Night says, if you run a Denon MC8 8000 and Pioneer CDJ 8000 MK2, they say it works, DVS ready, can you just plug in the CDJs and it will work with Serato? That I have no idea. What he's asking is if you're using the Denon 8000 as a mixer/controller to where you put two more Pioneers on the outside and it works. I don't know. I know that I've had this and the 6000 both hooked up to where I was using the two inner channels and these platters running my laptop, and a friend had his laptop there, and two record players out here running control vinyl and running into here and using this as a mixer and then to his laptop. And that will work, but you still have to work with the control vinyl or signal. I'm not sure how the Reigns and all those work that don't have actual physical signals. Haven't tried that. Sorry, I can't help you that. Chris, I haven't looked at any of that stuff. I'm if you don't know me, Chris, I'm not much of a people person, so I know that I'm going to get flack for saying this. Every time I say it, I do, and I'm fine. I liked the lockdown. I liked just sitting here in my studio. So when it came to being here, I don't pay attention to a lot of what goes on in the world, and I know that sounds terrible, but I'm an artist. I'm very creative, and this is what I've always done and always liked. So this fit me perfectly, staying at home. No one had to force me into that. I love it. I'm out like twice a week. Normally, even without all this, I'm only out like twice a week, or once a week, depending on, if I'm DJing 3 nights a week. I'm picking one of those days to run errands before I DJ or after I DJ late at night, when Walmart or whatever was open. But I really don't pay attention to a lot of that stuff. I really don't, and I apologize. I don't listen to other DJs. I listen to Spotify. Like I said, it's all dance music. I listen to house, down-tempo house, vocal house, piano house, chill out, ambient, stuff like that. Like I said, lately I've been kind of listening to a lot of 90s dance. So I apologize for not being down on that stuff. I don't follow a lot of that. Dan says, thanks, MJ. I have some MK2s I never use, trying to find out what to do with them. Give them a try. I'm telling you right now, give it a try and let me know how it works. So next time somebody asks me, I can say, yeah, you can do that. I know that it has to tie in with a hub, so you might be able to make it work if you use a USB hub. And that, because I know a friend of mine that does, instead of using like the Rain 72 mixer where he can tie the decks into the mixer, he runs a hub to take it up to the laptop with a separate connection, and that's how he does his. So that maybe is something you need to do, is run the two into a hub and then up to the laptop separate from the controller. I think that's what you might have to do. Oh, Chris says, thank you. That's cool. That's cool. We're getting close to top of the hour. Any other questions? Like I said, thank you guys for hanging out. I apologize that this was I didn't put up too much notice of when it changed, but literally Monday night after the Monday night chat show is when I decided to move this one because I just felt that it was we had an open spot. Like I said, there was a lot of changes in DJ and TV. I'd always take the 10 o'clock spot because I'm always up late because I'm always up till like 4 o'clock in the morning anyways. But if I can be done earlier and, I can be done at 10 o'clock and then spend the next 2 hours working here in the studio and stop about midnight, I'm happy with that. Or nothing other than get done with the show and then go to the grocery store or something. I'm cool with that. So that's kind of where, when I was able to move it till 9 p.m., I was good with that. VSM4. Is that the Vestex one, Paul? Those of all of the non-motorized platters, I really like the ones that the Vestex made. Until the Denon ones. I love these freaking Denon ones so much. But of all the other ones, Vestec had that down on all of theirs. So, yeah, American DJ. I owned some American DJ CD players back in the day. It was American Audio, was it called? No, it was called American DJ. With some of the first CD players I bought back in the day. Whew, they're bad. I mean, you just bumped them, they skipped. But yeah. So, again, thank you guys for hanging out. Any other questions? Like I said, we don't have to end it right now, but I'm just basically, that's what I'm here for tonight. We're talking about change and changes, and this year you might need to change equipment. You might need to change what you do, your advertising, your title. I'm not sure. Again, this is going to be an interesting year for me. If the bars and clubs open up, I'm fine. Part of me would like to not have to go back to that. I'm hoping that maybe the book or speaking engagements or something, my teaching takes off. So I don't have to rely 100% on the clubs and bars, but I'm happy to go back because it's so much better than a day job. I can't begin to tell you. My worst day at a club is still so much better than a day job. And that's kind of the way I look at it, that I've kind of made a life that I don't need to oh my gosh, I get away from it all. No. When I'm DJing, if it's a bad night, I've got 4 hours, 3 hours maybe, and I'm done. And I'll come back for another week. And if I don't like it there, I go work somewhere else because there's places I've done that where I just didn't like the management. They got new management. I didn't like the management. I just quit and went somewhere else. And I try to keep so I don't DJ at the same place a lot. So if I lose a gig, I still have other gigs. So it's a lot about working angles and hustling. I know my side of the business is a lot of networking because the majority of the places I DJ at, one of the DJs is the person who books all the DJs. So I know two of the places I DJ at, I'm the person who brings other DJs in for other nights. I'm responsible for that. So if I want to go to new places, I have to go and network with the DJs that are there, make friends with them, invite them to come at my place and DJ, trade them nights maybe so we get to expand things. But stuff like that is good and you have to work that. But like I said, with the way this year went and being in lockdown, you just couldn't. I've spent a year where I haven't been able to network with anybody aside from online, but that's fine. It's just different, so you kind of have to think about stuff like that. So that's good. I appreciate, again, all you guys, these awesome comments. I appreciate it. Please join me, if you will, over on my Twitch after this. You have to give me a couple minutes to switch things back over again and all the different things that I have going on there. I also have it on my YouTube page, so you can... YouTube kind of gets shut down sometimes, but if you go to my YouTube page, it's youtube.com/DJ Michael Joseph, or the Twitch, it's twitch.tv/DJ Michael Joseph. And shortly after 10, all of that's going to be going on there. I'm probably going to do about a 2-hour set. It's all going to be 90s. I got lots of 90s lined up, lots of 90s videos too. So I downloaded, I don't know how many, a bunch of 90s videos today. So a lot of that stuff I haven't even set up cue points in some of them because I just grabbed so many of them today that I was just going, oh, I love this song from back then, where I had the audio version. I'm like, oh, I want the video version. Oh, I want the video version. So you get to see a lot of that tonight. Thank you guys again. Pay attention to all the other stuff that's going on in Disc Jockey News. We do have new stuff coming, new shows. Howie's thing next Monday at 10 p.m. The Monday Night Chat, which is now moved to 9 p.m. I'm going to be a part of that. Howie's thing that is at 10 p.m. on the Chill Room. Each and every single night around 9, 10, 11 o'clock, you can go to the Chill Room and hang out with other people. Again, that's djntv.com/chill, and you can just go and hang out and talk. And again, it's not about DJs DJing, but they talk about music and cars and life and food and everything. So it's just kind of a place to hang out. Some guys, like I said, they go into that room, they wait till maybe their family goes to sleep, and then they just go in there and hang out and BS. And it's kind of a neat thing. So join all that. If you have any questions, hit me offline. If you'd like to see changes in any of this stuff or whatever, let me know. Again, we're trying to build these shows the way you want them to, so let me know. And I appreciate every one of you for tuning in, all the likes, all the shares. If you want to see it on Facebook, like I said, it is coming up on Facebook. John's going to be putting it up as soon as we're done recording and all that kind of stuff. But until next time, as always, thank you. Take care of yourselves, okay? And more importantly, take care of each other. This world is idiotically crazy right now, and no one is going to stand up for us but us, so we have to help each other. A government is not going to help us. We have to help each other. Even if we disagree with someone, we have to be willing to help our fellow man, no matter who they are. Even if they are record DJs. I'm going to be polite to you because I'm kidding. Serato users, I love you. No, seriously, we got to be there for each other, and that's all there is to it. So until next time, God bless and good night.